Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life can be a little bit miserable, life can be a little bit dark, so we are here to bring you as much light and as much joy as we possibly can. I am the stay-at-home mum Bradley, and offered in a hefty crust for us is Stu. How you doing, Stu?
Yeah, pretty good. Keeping you supported, which is my primary concern. Got to look after you.
You have to, yes. Look, this week, if you're in the UK, you know things are about to go very, very badly. For want of a better word, everything's fucked. So I can't even be bothered with meandering about it. So what do you say, Stu? Straight into talking about games?
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, so what have you been playing?
So I have been playing some video games.
That's good to know, yeah.
I know, you'd think I'd be prepared. No, the first one I've been playing is a game called Busbound. As you know, I'm autistic. So things like trains and buses, give me that stuff straight into the veins. And what you've got with Busbound is a bus driving simulator, but also a kind of tycoon management style game as well. So basically, with Busbound, you are given this role as someone who's new into this city, and for whatever reason, this city's transport links either non-existent or rubbish. You've just come in to learn to drive a bus, and they're giving you the keys to fixing the city's transport. Look, it's got a story behind it, but it's bobbins, no one cares. But yeah, so basically, you're driving buses around, doing these routes, and then you've got to create new routes, build up money and sort of like make more routes and make it all self-sufficient and everything. And basically, the idea is earn as much money as you can for the city whilst having the best transport links. Quick point of note, transport in this town is free. All the money is made through sponsorship and sort of other things and what have you that do it. And that's how you earn the money, by reputation and everything.
Nice.
I know, who would have thunk it? But anyway, yeah. Just saying, it might be a good idea. Free public transport. But anyway, £300 and something to get from Manchester to London now.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
I know. Anyway, well, we're not going down that route. But yeah, it's really good. So a couple of things to note with it. The bus driving mechanics are pretty solid. It feels like a nice hefty machine that you're driving. So like when you take corners, you know, you really got to swing the bus around. You can't just like take the apex like you're in a racing car or something like that. You've really got to consider how the bus turns. Things like speed bumps really do affect. So if you're driving at 30 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour, and you hit a speed bump, your bus is going to feel it, and your passengers are going to feel it, and they will mark you down, so to speak, on the experience of the journey. So there's all things like that you need to consider. Making sure also you're on time to each stop, because there's a timetable you need to follow. And you could do that side of it. But then also you can then hire people that drive the routes for you. So you're not like one person having to drive 15 different routes, because as we all know, that's not possible. Don't know what superheroes have taught you, but even the Flash had struggled with that. Anyway, so yeah, you do hire people and they can then drive the routes, but you can jump into any route at any time and drive it. Your other part is managing routes and sort of setting up new ones and stuff like that where it's needed in the city, and that's the tycoon side of it. Now, you do need to do both sides of this in the game, which is fine, but it's not really done in a way that goes, you've done this, now you've got to concentrate on this. And if you don't concentrate on this bit fails. You can, if you want, for a long time, it's just spend the time just driving a route like a bus driver. Or you could just have someone hired to do the drive-ins, and you could just concentrate on the business side of it if you really want to. You would mainly just, I suppose, if you really want to do that, is pick up a driving route to actually physically go and see what problems there are with the route. You know, what's causing the buses to always be late to this stop, and can you adjust it? So you might drive it, and you might say, oh, there's a lot of traffic at here. that's causing me to be late. So can we adjust the route so it goes this way, kind of thing, or adjust the timetable and all things like that. So you've got all those options in there. And it plays really, really well. And it is playable on the Steam Deck, despite being unsupported. So it's not recommended because it is a bit... I had to do, that Decky LVSK thing for the frame gen stuff. I had to do that to try and get a decent performance out of it on low to medium settings. But it is available on the NVIDIA GeForce Now's cloud service, and I played it on there, completely whacked up to maximum, and it played like an absolute dream. And it is the sort of game that you can play on a cloud server and not be worried too much about delayed inputs and stuff, like if you're sensitive to that sort of thing. But yeah, overall, it's a really, really good game and a good take on the simulation thing, because, again, some of the other bus simulation games, it's like you've done the route, it's like, oh, I've done it now. This adds a bit more to it. I dare say they'll add some DLC down the line and everything. At the moment, it's set in an American city, so it's all right side driving and American locations. I'd like to see them expand it out, maybe with DLC to some European cities, to some UK cities, maybe, and things like that. Or maybe like Australia, long journeys through Australia, and a fictionalized version. But yeah, it's a really, really good experience. I'm quite happy with this one.
Cool, yeah, and watching or playing it around UK cities would be interesting because of roundabouts, tight corners, really small streets.
Yeah.
It would, that would be very different.
Yeah, I'm hoping what this becomes is a bit like the train sim games, where you've got this as the main game now, and then they can add routes onto it, different buses, different countries, and all things like that. So interested to see where this one goes. But it's not a bad price, actually. It's just it's £25, which isn't bad for what it is. It's definitely if you're into sim games like this, you could jump in with this one, I think, and not be too disappointed by pricing or anything like that.
Yeah, seems like a decent one.
So obviously, I know you've not been playing anything, Stu. So I'm just going to carry on.
I have, but I've not been playing anything new.
Fair enough. I might let you talk in a minute then, very briefly.
Oh, that's kind.
Maybe. I've got a few still to catch up on that I didn't even have time for last week. So the next one, it could have fit into last week's puzzle roundup in a way, but this is not a puzzle game. It's chess-based, so it depends how you consider chess. And some people there's a lot of chess-based puzzle games and stuff like that out there. This, however, is called a Gambonanza, and this is Balatro, but what if chess? We've had Balatro, but what if what's it called? Claw Machine. We've had Balatro, but what if Plinko? We've had Balatro, but what if Words? So what if Balatro, but what if chess?
Right.
And this is what Gambonanza is.
Gotcha.
And I don't know much else of what to say about it. It is literally a chess-based roguelike where you basically start off with, you're given 3 pawns and a small board, like a 3x3 or 4x4 board. And you basically got to go and take the opposing pieces. That is literally the point of the game. Not the king. It hasn't always got to be a king. It's just you got to take all the pieces, and all the pieces you have are like a pawn can move, forward or take diagonally. Queen can move wherever it wants. King 1 and 1 and all things like that. So the rules of chess are in there. But then you get things like little modifiers you add to it. So if you take for example, if you take a piece with a pawn, the opponent skips their go. So you can then go, for example, you could take a pawn, take another pawn, take a king in one move if you set up right. And you get other things that give you maybe bonus money to then spend on new pieces as you go. So you can then, I could do getting a knight for this next round, or a queen. And it teaches you things like if you get your pawn to the edge, you can transfer it into any other points. You can turn it into a queen. And then obviously you've got that extra power that a queen gives you for as you would in chess. You go through different rounds and then you come to a boss, which has some other modifiers of itself that make things more difficult. And as I was playing it, I first thought, this is really simple and is it going to run out of ideas too quickly? Is it just going to become just a bit, well, I know how to do chess, I know how this works, great, I can get through. And to its credit, once you get past through the tutorial levels, it opens up a lot. So you can get modifiers that make the board bigger. You can get modifiers that allow you to start with extra pieces, and loads of little bits like that. Modifiers that affect what happens if you skip a go, if you take a certain piece, etc., etc. There's a modifier that says when you get to the end, instead of changing to a queen and you change to a bishop, for example, you get this added benefit. So there's loads of little things you can do, and as you go through it, it gets harder. And like Balatro, there's different versions you can play that give you different starting sets, etc., etc. And it's a really interesting game. But I would argue it does require, whereas Balatro, for example, doesn't really require you to have any knowledge of poker, this sort of does require you to have a knowledge of chess to get the most out of it. And I think that it's not going to hold it back, but it doesn't make it one that I can just say, if you love Balatro, you don't even need to like chess, get this. Whereas Balatro, you go, don't matter if you like poker, just play it. So it does lack that, but if you have got a passing interest in chess, or understand how to play chess, then this is outstanding. It's absolutely fantastic. But I would say I think we are getting to the tipping point of these Balatro likes now.
Yeah, I mean there've been billions of them, but yeah, it looks pretty good. So I take it will try and stop you. It will stop you from doing illegal chess moves, but the fact that you have to stack them means that you might not choose the correct move or something.
Yeah, so you can't. So if you've got a pawn, you can't move the pawn one sideways, for example. It won't allow you to do what you can't do. Now you can have modifiers that change how the piece will act, and you can use it in that way. But it does go, look, here's your piece. These are the moves you can make.
Right, yeah. But it will hold you back a bit if you can't strategize because you don't know chess moves, I guess.
Yeah, to a degree.
Yeah.
It does. It will teach it does teach you how to play the game. But when you understand, in a way, there's a couple of bits where I know how this works and this is how I want to use it. But the game was trying to go, no, this is the best way to do it. And I'm like, I don't want to do it that way. Because I've played a lot of chess. I'm not like a grandmaster or anything. I'm not even very good at chess. But I understand about planning ahead. So I would try and use my queen in a certain way to trap a piece so it can't move, to allow me to then take a king or checkmate a king or check a king with another piece a little bit later in the game. Well, this isn't what you need to do because it's not chess. It's Balatro with chess pieces. So that kind of thinking 7, 8, 9 moves ahead for a checkmate, that's what you do, because you literally, the idea is take them all. You're not going to checkmate, you've got to take all the pieces. Yeah. So that's where it's a bit, it isn't chess, and that's what I found initially a little bit difficult to get my head around, because it wasn't letting me do what I would want to do in chess. So I'd imagine a chess grandmaster playing this will go, get out. That's not how you do this.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. No, it seems really intriguing. I'm not sure. I'm like you in that I'm kind of at the tipping point with the Balatro types. And I've not even played that many, probably about 3 or 4. But I might have to get this one. I do love chess.
I'd keep it on the radar. It's one of those, at the moment, it's actually fairly cheap. It's like 30% off, I think, at the moment on Steam, and it's in many bundles. Unfortunately, not one with Balatro, which is weird. But I would keep it on. And for you, or people who have maybe not too into them, is wait for a deeper sale, maybe.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah. I'll add it to the wish list and put it on the backlog. Yeah.
You do that. Well, I'll give my voice a rest. What old crap you been playing?
Well, not old crap actually. I've talked about it in a previous episode, which is Mouse PI for Hire. I've still been playing that, which is gigantic. It's one of those that you're kind of like, okay, it's a boomer shooter basically. it's going to be probably 8 to 10 hours, but I don't know, I've been going for at least 12, probably more than that, and there's a good few locations I haven't been to yet. So it falls into it's a little bit too large for my taste, as the actress said to the bishop. I'm not a huge fan of games getting too big because they feel like bloat. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's bloated, because the new stuff does introduce things like new perks and weapons and things like that, and allows you to buy into the economy so that you're upgrading weapons. But, that's an argument in itself. Do you really need that kind of a thing in this kind of game just to create content and make it longer? But hey, that's just my opinion. I don't like very big games. I love games that just end at like 10 hours if it's an action game, or earlier, and only go above that if you like something that's infinite, like a puzzle game or an RPG that should be about 40 hours. But that's just my opinion anyway. But it's still a very good game. The other thing that I've got on the radar is, I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the podcast, but I tried sticking my PS1 on a little while ago, a few months back, and it burned out. I don't know why, but the magic smoke appeared and it stank. And I was like...
Grey or the little sexy white number?
Well, the little sexy white number, yeah. Yeah. And, obviously extremely disappointed, because I've had it for decades. It's chipped, and I also have the little screen, the LCD screen. But
oh my god,
yeah, it's lovely. But
you have never been sexier to me, Stu.
I find that hard to believe, actually. But yeah, I can always push the envelope. But yeah, so I was really disappointed because it's I'm pretty confident it's dead. But luckily, I managed to source a cheap one. When I say cheap, I mean astonishingly cheap, because it's quote unquote untested. But I've got it for 15 quid delivered, which is just astonishing for an old PS1. And I've ordered one of these memory cards that allows you to hack it basically and play any region games. Yeah. And fingers crossed, the LCD screen should still be fine. So I should, for quite under 30 quid, should be able to get back on the hobby horse with playing all my games on my PS1. So they've not, it's not arrived yet. I'm like, frothing at the mouth kind of thing, but it's nearly here. So yeah, that's the exciting hardware news going on in my life at the moment.
See, the PS1, I still think it is one of the nicest looking consoles ever released.
It is.
It came from that grey box to this sleek. Oh my god, it was, and it was smaller. It was just beautiful. I would still, it's one of those where I just go, if someone done me a little mini retro machine in that shell, I would be a happy person.
Yeah.
Because it's, I know people have done it with the PS2, haven't they? Where they've taken out the drive and they've replaced it with an SD card reader, so it's the original hardware, but you could just play the PS2 ROMs on it instead of the actual discs and stuff. I'd love a PS1 version of that.
Yeah.
That would be gorgeous to have under the TV.
It would. There is an FPGA based product that's similar. It's taken that aesthetic and run with it, and that's lovely as well. But yeah, doing a home kit would be lovely as well, because it's beautiful. It's such a lovely little machine.
Yeah, I think I've said to you before. I think my dream would be to have little versions of the original shells of each console, and then just have the library on each of those, like whether it's a Raspberry Pi and you want to go that down like that cheap and it's just in a shell, but just having one of each of the main ones just under your TV, and one's your PS1 set up, one's your PS2 set up, your Dreamcast set up, GameCube set up, all just done like that, rather than it all just on one giant machine, because that would just look cool in my world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what I'm going for. I mean, it's a little less than that. I mean, I've just got the kind of 16-bit era, so the the SNES and the Mega Drive, I've got those multi-carts that just have like every game on them practically.
Yeah.
So that sort of fulfills that. I've got the funky like Pico thing for the GameCube. So that's like you can stick every game on an SD card. Yeah, and I've got like a optical drive replacement for my Dreamcast, so that's got everything on it. So I've kind of done that in a way. And yeah, it's nice.
You kick Mel out, right, and I'll move. All right.
I know. It's one of them. Like when people see the Neo Geo, that their knees tend to start buckling, and yeah.
Oh, and without giving all your money to Saudi.
Indeed, exactly. I don't have to worry about that.
No. Yes. It's come to something when your moral compass is stealing shit's better than like doing it legit.
Without a doubt. Yeah, in a lot of scenarios. Most of them, in fact.
Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, we're not positivity. Positivity. Yes. It's what we don't want the crap. So my final game this week is been waiting ages for Super Dodgeball. You know, another Super Dodgeball to come out, a decent version. I love that game. And it's not coming out. You know me, I like my turn-based games, Stu.
Oh, yeah.
So, what about Super Dodgeball? Well, not Super Dodgeball, more volleyball stroke Super Dodgeball, but turn-based tactics.
Oh, go on.
Because that's what you got in Smash It Wild, tactical or volleyball roguelike.
Okay.
So, there we go. Turn-based roguelike. We're ticking some boxes here.
Bingo cards filling up.
Yeah. So, do you know the... I take it if you played Mega Man Battle Network before at some point in the past.
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah. So do you know how you got your different lanes and like you're kind of battling on either side? Basically, it's taken those mechanics and turned it into a volleyball stroke dodgeball style game. And what you do is you've got your characters as a team on one side and then a team on the other side. And each of your characters has a health limit. Each of the other characters have a health limit. And there's different ways to win. One is to destroy all the opponents, and the other way is to score points by landing the ball into an empty zone. So on each side, for example, you've got 6 zones. So you will occupy 3 at any one time, and the opposition will occupy 3 of their 6. And you want to try and do it so they can't move to block a zone by knocking a ball over, and they will do the same, vice versa. You get different power-ups that you can get to do that. So different shot types based on who's doing the shot. And then as you beat a team, you then, because it's a roguelike, you then unlock some more stuff. So a different type of shot or different modifiers and power-ups that allow you to then sort of like build on what you're doing. And it's a really interesting concept. It's like, again, as someone who's played a bit of Mega Man Battle Network and some of the homages to that over the years, I kind of do get what it's going for. And I like it overall. But again, it's another one of those where it's taking me still a bit of time to really understand everything I need to know about it, the nuances. It's not one that's immediately, here's the hook, you're in. You've kind of got to play it and learn it, go back and learn it a bit more, play it some more, go back, you try. It's a bit too much there's so much going on that it's very difficult just to go, right, got it, I can go with this tactic and then learn other tactics as you go. It's trying to teach you, instead of one thing, it's trying to teach you 5 things at a time. And to me, and my brain, that's just like, oh, that's overload. And I played, I can't remember what it was called, that 9 thingy. It was like a gem-based match-free roguelike card game. I can't remember what it was called earlier this year. And I said that done really well by introducing each of the mechanics steadily and then building you into it. This does the opposite. It throws, like, here's the concept of winning the game. Great. I don't quite understand because there's so much information. And the UI in it is very, very busy as well. Now, that being said, when it does click in certain areas, it plays so well and it's really fun to play. It feels more like a sports game than it does a tactical roguelike game. And I think that's to its benefit, because I've played other versions of sports games turned into other genres. And rather than feeling like the sport they're playing, it's felt too much like the genre it's basing itself off of. So you look at something like Inazuma, the football game. It didn't feel like a football game. It felt more like a RPG. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted a football game that had all these special powers and RPG elements. I didn't want an RPG with a football skin. And some of those in the past have felt like that. This doesn't. This feels like it's a volleyball stroke dodgeball style game first, with these roguelike and tactical turn-based tactics mechanics in it. And it benefits from that. But as I said, it's really good in that. It's just a little bit overwhelming to start, and it takes a lot of patience to get into. But if you do, very, very good game here.
So do you feel like you're at the stage where you have grasped it and you can play it the way that you want it to, or do you still think there's a long way to go with that?
Still a long way to go in terms of I've barely unlocked half of what there is to unlock in it and so on. But the core concept of the game I've got now. But I feel like there's a lot more still to come from it because of how much there is to unlock. So, yeah, it is a tough one. I get why it's doing what it's doing. I would like a mode that basically almost done, here's a draft, here is your deck, so to speak, and this is what you've got to go through this entire run with, this deck. Rather than sort of going, here's your starting deck, which you start with every time, and you build it up like a roguelike. I would prefer it almost to be like a draft-based entry point, where you pick your characters for your team, you pick a number of cards, and that's what you've got to take you all the way through. And you kind of got that sports feel to it, rather than the roguelike deck-building feel to it. But that's just me. Or even if they did that as a mode, because, again, I'm not saying I don't enjoy the deck-building side of it, but I think that's just slightly could take away from the sports side of it. So it depends what you're looking for, and I am literally slap bang in the middle. It doesn't lean one way or the other too much, which I suppose is what it's trying to do. But I feel that it would be that bit better if it picked the lane and went for it.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
But it is really good at the same time. It's not a major criticism because it's obviously doing something right, because it's got its hooks in.
Yeah, fair. Interested. I'm interested.
Wishlist it. Don't pick it up yet.
Fair
for
point.
you, that is. I mean, it's only a tenner though. So again, it's a good price for one of these as well. It's fair play to Goblin Studio who published it. Is they've not gone, well, Balatro's 20 quid, or Slay the Spire's 20 quid, so we could be 20 quid. It's gone, look, these games exist. There's these games out there, they're established. If we charge the same price, what are we going to do? Half the price of that. I think it's one of those where if you're looking for something in that genre to play, tenner's one where you're going to go, yeah, I think I could jump in at that.
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable price point, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And it says it's playable on Steam Deck. I'm not quite sure. I don't think it's verified because some of the text is a bit small. That's the one thing I will note. It's very PC-centric text rather than going for handheld text.
Fair. Right. Okay.
I did play a game the other day, and I really can't remember what it was. But on its UI settings, it had scaling, but it had like large, small, medium, handheld as its option. I just scaled the UI properly for a handheld. I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of like city builder type game. I just can't remember what it was. I'll have to dig it out. But more of that, please, developers.
Yeah, too right. Finally catching on. That's good to hear.
Yes. Anyway, before we finish, unless you've got anything else, have you finished Pragmata yet?
No, still not finished it yet. Not had a chance.
God damn it! We need to chat more Pragmata. Hurry up.
Fair enough.
Quit your job.
But if I quit my job, I won't be able to buy any more Pragmatas. So that doesn't work.
You don't need to buy any more Pragmatas. Just finish the one Pragmata.
And then get another job, yeah?
Yeah, it was easy.
Only took 8 months.
Yeah, just go do some mining on the moon or something.
I'll get the game finished as soon as I feasibly can. I promise.
Bloody workers.
Disgusting, isn't it?
Game time, yeah, I know.
I know.
Before I hand over to you to do the outro, we did start off. Things are looking like shit at the moment. So my advice is, if you've got something you enjoy right now, focus on it as best you can. Just focus on the good things in life, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's games, whether it's like going out to a movie, going out to the park, going for walks, whatever it is you do that enjoys, that takes your mind off of what's shit, grab onto it right now, because I think we are heading to a point where we need to. It's everything's shit, so find the good where you can.
I agree, yeah. It's every person for themselves in a way when it comes to your mental health. And if you need any support, reach out to us. We're always happy to talk about things and get as much support as we can provide, really. But it's a difficult time and games are always an option. So dig back into them and burrow away. But yeah, that's it for this week. So as usual, follow us on all the socials, check out our content on the website, make sure to join Discord if you wish to chat, and until next week, stay safe and stay sane.